Good morning, and welcome to another inspiring episode of the Good Morning Minute, where we start the day with purpose, passion, and a little bit of power. I'm your host, Angelina Mojica, and today's conversation is part of our special series in partnership with the Empower Her Steps virtual conference, a movement rooted in helping women rise, heal, and walk boldly into the life that has been designed for them. Our mission is simple but powerful: empowering life purpose, because we believe that when a woman finds clarity in her calling, everything changes for her family, her community, and for the generations to come. So friends, grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and get ready to be uplifted as we dive into real stories, honest lessons, and bold steps toward purpose with today's incredible guest. And that guest is Sayyida Victoria. Welcome, welcome,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be on your podcast. I appreciate this.
Absolutely. And Sayyida Victoria, I like to just get started with a little fun icebreaker.
Okay.
So, my question to you this morning is, what's your go to morning drink?
Ooh, okay. Well, I am a newly discovered coffee drinker. So I don't like the taste of coffee, but I need the caffeine. So I do drink coffee. However, you would probably think I drink creamer, not coffee, because half of my coffee is filled with sugar-free creamer. So that is my go-to drink. But it's not, what color is coffee? Black? No, my coffee is probably, I don't know, ivory.
And I do it too. I think it's more cream and
Yeah.
caramel than it is
Yes.
actual coffee.
Yeah.
But I do get the extra espresso because I like that extra kick
Yes.
in the morning.
Right.
Um, but I do try to stay disciplined and just keeping it to one cup, because I know I have friends out there that do. They're just coffee drinkers
Oh,
throughout the
all day
day.
long. I've seen it. Yes, I know.
Yes. So, Saida Victoria, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to the Good Morning Minute to talk about a purpose-filled life.
Well, okay. So again, my name is Saida Victoria. You can call me Sai. That's kind of just short and it's sweet to the point. And so I am 50 years old I'll be 51 this year. I am from San Diego, California, but I live in Houston, Texas. I am a mother. I am a entrepreneur. I am a podcast host as well. And I also happen to be blind. So I am totally blind. I've been blind for 20 years, and that was, quite a journey. Even before that
Mm,
journey started, I was on another journey of life, right? Because life is just life.
mhm,
But it has drawn me to my purpose to, be a better person, to actually help others and strive to just be the role model for others that are going blind or even that just don't have the hope that they need to have to just go through these trials that are just so sometimes, tragic in life. So
mhm.
that is pretty much me. I'm just such a busy person. I don't know how I do half of the stuff that I do, but it keeps on doing. So I'm just gonna run with that. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all have to just stay with it, because I
Mhm.
feel once I stop,
Mm.
then the age will catch up with me, because
I think so too.
I'm like
Hmm.
49 years old and people still
Hmm.
tell me, "You don't look your age." I said,
Yeah,
"Well,
me,
let me
me
hold on to
too.
that."
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I hope I don't wake up one day and then it all catches up with me, right? That's what I'm hoping that does not happen.
Same. And I do embrace the aging process. I really try to stay more natural.
Yeah,
In some situations, I really like to be like low key and just kind
yeah,
of very natural. But,
yeah.
anyways, you talked about becoming blind in your 30s. What was that journey for you?
So, you know, when I think of that question, when people ask that, nobody is plans on going blind, right?
Mm,
So it's definitely something that just came out. I mean, it was like a slap in the face, if you've
mhm,
ever had a slap in the face. So, but it was a kind of a long journey, but not. And 5 years before I went blind, I had lost sight in one of my eyes.
Mm,
I was in a very unhealthy, toxic domestic violent relationship. And for a lot of years, I believed and felt that I went blind because of an incident, a physical fight that
mm,
we had. And, I just never had been hit so hard in my life. So I blamed, I don't know, I probably still do a little bit, but I blamed that relationship for my blindness, right?
mm,
But comes to find out, so that was for 5 years, I had one sight in one eye, and the thing was that, I was tested for everything, nobody knew what it was.
mhm.
5 years later, I am driving, and I end up totally blind. It just my sight gone,
Wow.
okay? And so, I then was tested again for everything, and nobody knew, and 7 years went by, and I was even diagnosed with multiple sclerosis for the last year. I gave
Mm,
myself a shot every day for a whole year to treat multiple sclerosis, which is not what I had. So I have a disorder called neuromyelitis optica, and that is it. I guess my white blood cells build up in my body, and what
mhm,
happens is when there's too many, they attack the nerves, and it attacks my optic nerve, and that damage. That's one of the nerves that cannot be repaired. And they can also attack the nerves in my spine. So from this disorder, I could also be paralyzed if I don't take the treatments and stuff to kill those white blood cells.
mm,
So that was that journey. And I tell you, when I finally went completely blind, I just thought my life was over. There was no way that I would be able to go on as a blind person. I never seen blind people. I might have seen one or two walking random. I don't, I just had no positive images of blind people that were like me. You all think of Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles.
mm,
Those are not my peers. I don't have
mm,
Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles money. I don't have their talent. Those are not my peers. And so I always thought that, you know, my life was over until one day my son came into the room and said, Mommy, I'm hungry. And this is after me being in my room, I don't know, 6 months, probably 6 months to a year. I can't remember the exact time, but
wow.
I was
Yeah.
locked in my room. I
Mm,
didn't, no visitors, no phone calls. I didn't want to deal with anybody. And when he came in there and said, Mommy, I'm hungry, the light bulb just went on. And I said, what am I doing? I am going to sit here and let who's going to, I had 4 kids at that time, 4 young kids.
mm,
And who's going to mother them? This was my job. I was put here to be their mother, and just because I'm blind, I think I can't do that anymore. So that was the day my eyes were truly opened to my new blind life, because just because I'm blind, it just means I have to do things differently. But that cannot stop me. And I want my kids
mm.
to see that. I wanted them to see that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then when you say that's when my eyes were truly open, oh,
Hmm.
that just hits me on a spiritual level because how many of us walk blindly with sight? You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Even
Yes,
even when we have
absolutely.
sight, we walk blindly. And I shared a little bit of my story as well, prior to our
Hmm.
interview here. Um, but I mean, I did. I walked so blindly in this victim mentality
Yeah.
of my life story, right? At that time, the things that were happening or happened, and what I was willing to allow dictate my
Mm.
decision making and my choices and what I believed about myself, my identity.
Yes.
And it's so, I don't know, I
Yes.
call it a rock bottom. And it's unfortunate that so many of us have to wait for a rock bottom moment to happen. But
Right.
in that rock bottom, that's where I discovered purpose for myself. So when
Absolutely.
did you begin to sense there was purpose on the other side of this situation for yourself?
So, and you're right. It is, it's very sad that we have to, like, why did I have to go blind to
Mm,
realize that
mm-hmm,
there was purpose in my life, right?
mm-hmm,
There may, and here's the thing, there could have been purpose then. I don't know, and I'll never know, because the fact of the matter is I'm blind today. and I was blind then, and so I can't go back and change that. But I think so after I, realized my life is not over, I still didn't quite understand how I was going to be a normal, woman living a
Mm,
normal life. But I think what happened was I got out. Okay, I
mm,
got out, but not just going out. I got out and got around other people that were blind and visually impaired because all of my family, friends were all sighted. And of course, you have people that say, yo, you can do this, and I just wanted to look at them and say, well, how do you know? You're sighted.
yeah.
You can't, your encouragement, although I know it comes from a good place, it means nothing to me because you really don't know. But when I started getting around other blind and visually impaired people that were actually doing it, they were successful, they were independent, they were confident. I had cane shame. I use a white cane, and I was ashamed to use that for 12 years because I didn't want
Mm,
people looking at me. I didn't want people knowing that I was blind. I thought it just, or I thought I was too cute. I'm too cute to be
mhm.
carrying around this blind cane. I don't, that, which was so vain, right? So, um, I got past that though, and I'll tell you, when I finally stopped being ashamed of that cane, oh my gosh, my whole life was open differently. So when you ask when, I want to say about 12 years into my blindness. Now
Mm,
after, I got up and made my son lunch, I did go back to school. I got an associate's degree, just guess what? It was for me though. This was to prove to me that I can do it. Can I do it?
yeah.
So I got that associate's. Then I said, whoa, let me try the bachelor's. So I got a bachelor's degree. And actually, and I think you said it, but you have a master's in it. And my bachelor's is in human services as well.
Mm,
So, but then I didn't want to stop there. Now I want a job.
mhm,
Now I want to prove to myself that I can work.
mm,
Now I want to prove to myself that I can start an organization. Now, and I just kept setting these they're not even goals. They were goals for, you know, on the correct way of saying it, but they were more than goals for me. It was
mhm,
like a test. They were tests for me. I was giving myself tests to see how well I did on these tests. And when I kept knocking those tests out the park, it just gave me, and then I said, okay, I did this. I did it on my own. Now what? And I would say, God, what else? What's
mm,
next? And then that's when he said, this is your story needs to be shared. It's to be empowering to others. It's to help others. And it's not even just blind, because I have had sighted people tell me that I have inspired them. Even if it's
mm,
just to say something like, well, if she can do it, I know I can do it. That's
mhm,
okay too. I take that,
mhm,
But it's just for people. I've had sighted friends calling me, complaining about, oh, I can't get a job. And I'm looking at them. Can you see? Well, huh? Yeah, I could see. Okay, well, you're calling a blind person,
mhm,
that has a job, that worked really hard to get this job. Um, 10 jobs were denied before I got this job. And you
wow.
are a fully able-bodied person, and you are telling me you can get a job. So and so that's when it started saying, you know, okay, I need to show people. I need to be the example that I'm trying to set for people. Right. And
Mm,
so
mhm,
my passion is working in my blind and visually impaired community. And that's where I started it's called Blind Professionals Network, so that blind and visually impaired can come together and see and know that success is possible. But it
mm,
doesn't stop there, because a blind person can't just say, I want to work, and think a job is going to come and sit down and be next to them and hold their hand, right? So
mhm,
um, BPN, we provide trainings and we provide workshops, we provide mentoring. We make sure that people do not have a reason to not get that. You have to have skills. And no matter
mm,
sighted, blind, any disability, you still have to have the skills to get any job. And
mhm,
so that's what we do with BPN. And I realized there that that's my passion, is to help other people's realize their potential. And that's how
Mm.
that grew. It didn't stop
That
there though.
no, that is that is you're just you keep pulling at my own personal story too because and I know we talked a little bit
Yeah.
about having similar backgrounds but when you talked about God telling you to use what you have to help
Hmm.
others, that's the exact same message that I received from him too. And he, you know, not in the same words, but it was like
Right.
you go through these things so that you can be the light in someone else's darkness. And I
Absolutely.
mean, you illuminate people that you're talking to,
Yeah.
no matter what
Yeah.
whether they can see or not see. And
Absolutely.
it's beautiful because you are this candle in the darkness, helping lead those out of their own situations and
Right.
giving them, you know, giving them an insight of, hey, you know, your excuses are just
Yeah.
excuses. Like
Yeah.
you can do what you want to do if you
Yes.
want to. I think, and it's, you know, just in my thoughts, I think like, wow, you know, we limit ourselves because of fear, maybe doubt, you know, just
Yeah.
lack of confidence, whatever the case may be. We put those limits on ourselves.
I
Uh,
think it was the biggest thing for me with that. And
uh-huh.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no, no,
off,
you're good. You're good.
but the biggest me it and the biggest my self-esteem,
Mm,
all of that was
yeah.
affected. And I think once I didn't love myself. I didn't love me enough to realize that I was somebody, that I could do this,
Mm,
right? And this came after I went blind. Because
wow.
when I was sighted, my self-esteem, my confidence, even though, one thing about self-esteem is nobody actually accepts or is proud to say, "Oh, I have low self-esteem." Everybody thinks their self-esteem is perfect
Mm,
until they actually realize and look at themselves, look at what they're doing. I always thought I had high self-esteem, my confidence. Then I look back at the relationships. I was in multiple unhealthy relationships, domestic
mm,
violent relationships. I was
mm,
at one time in my life, and I think it was even to the point where, I had abandonment issues. So, I mean, you tell me you love me and you pretty much, oh, yay, you love me. You got me.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just so many things but I didn't see that until after I went blind. And there is so much truth in the fact of me not having sight, but my vision is so much more after going blind.
Mm,
I my vision is I see so many things differently.
mm,
But, and again, it's not just sighted people have the potential to see things more clearly. And I think you're living proof of that, right?
well, thank you.
So, but you have to self-assess. You have to look at
Mhm,
yourself. Things always happened wrong. Like things kept going wrong for me. All before my 30s, in my 20s, my teen, everything like what? My life was crap. But I had to actually sit back and look. And after I went blind, I looked back, I said everything was crap. Most of it was because of me. I
mm.
could have ended a lot of this stuff. But because my low self-esteem, my lack of self-worth, all of that stuff was prevented so much. And once that came, and let's not act like I'm just, Miss Positivity all the time, because I'm
Yeah.
still blindness is it's hard. I try to sink into depression very often. It
Mm.
tries to come and hit me, and I just have to know how to fight it. I have to know how to get out of it and not let it take over. But that's with everything we do.
Mm.
Life is just it's not easy.
That's
I
true.
you
That's,
know
I mean, it's true. It's,
yeah.
and it'll hit you whether you expect it or don't
Yes.
expect it. It's going to happen. What do
Yeah.
you think, Sai, what do you think helped you grow and heal through this season?
Um, I really think the was wanting to be a better person.
Mm.
I think that is what helped me to grow. People, and I'm nothing against anybody who says anything like this. People say, "Oh, I did it for my kids, and my
Mhm.
kids were my inspiration." No, no, not my kids were. They're a huge part of my life, and I still strive and want to be that for my kids. But doing anything for anybody else, it's not going to be successful. and I've learned that I have to
Mm,
do things for me. And
mhm,
because I wanted to be a very, I wanted to be how I was, but better. Because I
mhm,
was always independent. I was always a go-getter. I was always, I had aspirations. I was always trying to accomplish things and accomplish better things in life. I was always that way, and I did not want to be blindness be the reason that I stopped doing that. Okay. Now that
mhm,
I'm blind, I just do it differently. I do it better, which, that is part of, my brand is, better blind insight as I also do a development coaching. Um, and that was a kind of a rebranding off of my coaching business, which was clear vision coaching. But
mm,
yeah, clear vision coaching was great and I loved it. And I've been doing that, but the better blind insight. That's not just for blind people. Everybody, and you
mhm,
said that before,
mhm,
everybody can have some better blind insight
mm,
because we go into so many things and we go in blind and we're not opening our eyes. Why? Because there's so many things that our eyes see that are blocking us from really seeing what we need to see,
mm,
And I think that me going blind helped me to see that. And that's my motivation to just continue to grow and thrive is just for me proving to me once again, because we are our worst critics, right?
mm. Yeah,
So,
true.
but I'm proving to me, but along the way, I'm helping other people. I think I'm really a nurturer by heart. Probably why I have 5 kids, right? I'm just a mother hen. I'm just always want a mother, mother, mother.
Uh-huh.
And I think me being that way makes me even stronger in wanting to help others to see that they can live a good life. They can do
Mm,
this. So,
mm. I love that you're saying these things. And one thing that you said that really kind of hit me as my own aha moment in this conversation, that never really gave it much thought because I was that person that was like, yeah, I'm gonna do these changes because I want my children to see better. I'm doing it for
mhm,
my babies. I'm doing it for the
mhm,
next my grandbabies. Um, that's the legacy I want to leave behind. But when you restated that you did it for yourself, it just affirms how important that self-confidence is and that
yeah,
self-esteem is. And as a coach, a life coach
yeah,
myself too, you teach people you got
mhm,
to put yourself first. It's not selfish. So for you to
absolutely.
say that, it really does encompass that idea because through your healing, through your journey, you're able to help others, but not only that, your children do benefit from it. Your community does benefit from it.
Yes, yes,
All the changes that come with that growth,
yeah,
there are people in your circle that benefit from that. So yes,
yeah.
put yourself first.
Yes, 'cause you're
That's
better. Yeah.
yes,
Make
yes,
yourself better and then everybody around you will see that it can be for them too. But
absolutely.
it's so tough when you're always we always think that, we're doing this, the reasons for us are not for us, right?
Hmm.
But we can't, it has to be for you because when I give you a goal, just like goal setting, right?
Hmm.
Goal setting, we all say goals. But if I tell you, okay, you're going to record 5 podcasts this week, okay?
Hmm.
Well, you may or may not do it. I don't know if that's your plan, but if you tell yourself, I'm going to record 5 podcasts this week, it's a big difference
Hmm.
because it is set by you. Another reason why you got to put yourself first.
Yep.
You set your own standards. You set your own, recognize your own worth, value, all of that stuff, and set your own. And that way, everybody else around you will feel it. It'll flow off of you. As I say, you'll
Yeah,
exude that.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So tell me, how has your story shaped who you are today?
Oh, I love me.
Uh-huh.
I do love me. And my daughter always says, she's like, Mom, why do you keep saying that? You sound like because I do love me. And you know what? Even sometimes if I feel like I don't love me in that moment, I'm still gonna say
Hmm.
it because
Mm.
I have to remind myself that I love me because that's so important. right? But the
Mhm.
reason why I love me is because I love who I have become. I love what I'm doing. I love how I am helping. I love the compassion that I have now. Had
Mm.
those people not shown me that compassion when they were helping me through my blindness, I probably would still be that bitter Betty lady because I was an
Mm.
ugly, angry person.
Mm.
And I now, but here's the thing, some of that is still with me. And because at the end of the day, my life, my childhood, all of the stuff that I've been through, that still has shaped and molded who I am. I just
Mm.
had to redefine the parts and put them in the proper places within me, right? So
Yeah.
when people are, I'm still firm. I still tell it like it is. I'm still going to tell people, and this was something that this took some time. I had to work on this because
Mhm.
my bluntness, it's still, how does this dress look? Oh, that's ugly. There's a better way to say that. There's a better way to do
Mhm.
that, right? So
Mhm.
my loving me today, it didn't happen just right away when I went blind. It still was years. I've been blind 20 years. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I still grew into this, but the blindness has actually helped me to see the strength I have in me. And I love
Mhm.
it. I
Mm.
love it. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love that you're saying this because it's always a work in progress,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the things that we're trying to change about ourselves are those things that are deeply rooted.
Hmm.
These are things that
Hmm.
happened in our childhood
Yeah.
through our circumstances, through
Yeah.
the process of building an identity of who we were in our family systems, in our societal
Yeah.
systems, just those things. And so it's not about perfection. And this was the
Mm-mm.
conference that Empower Her Steps. It's about being powerful beyond perfection. So not
Hmm.
really focusing in on I have to have it this way, or I've got to look that way or anything.
Hmm.
No, just take the step.
Yeah.
If you know that there's something in your heart that you want to step into, then just take the step. Take that first
Yeah.
step. You don't have to be ready. I think when you received your information from the Lord above, it was like, okay, this is what I have to do, and you just took the steps, whether that was getting back into school or
Yeah.
whatever that is. I mean, you didn't have whatever qualifications, but you've grown them within the 20
Yes.
years for
Exactly.
sure. I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
do. Um, what advice would you give to someone currently in the in between?
You know, the thing is, nobody can tell you, or anyone can tell you what you should be doing, how you should be.
Mm,
I always say, even when I was in, bad relations, oh, you need to leave him, or when I was in a dead end job, or you need to get a better job. We come to these defining moments on our own terms,
mm,
right?
mhm,
Because if you try to push and force things, again, that's what I was saying earlier, it's not going to be successful because you're not doing it for you.
mhm,
So be you for you. This is how, decide how you want to be, decide the type of person you want to be, and do it for you and make those changes. And it could be, they're baby steps. Like you said, take
mhm,
those steps. Here's the thing, nobody likes change. Change is hard, but change could be the best thing that ever happened to you. Change might be a little difficult,
mhm,
but guess what? The beauty of it, change again. Nobody says you can stop. You have to stop those transformations that you're doing. Sometimes we get into things or we do things and we might realize, halfway in that, ooh, this might not have been the best way to go.
mhm,
Guess what? That's okay. Start over.
mhm, mhm,
Do it
mhm.
again. It's not the,
Yes.
you just start, do it
Yes.
again.
Like I want to throw my hands up and go, yes,
Yeah, just
yes,
do it again.
preach for else.
Yes.
Um, and I love so talking about change too, because change happens all the time. Like we don't really, you talk about life being expected, unexpected situations occur.
Yeah.
So change happens all the time. Here's what we fight. We fight having to change within ourselves. So, like, we have
Hmm.
to change.
Yeah.
So, a situation occurs, there's something inside us that has to change. So, you talk about do it for you, and we have to come to it in our own terms.
Hmm.
So, and you mentioned being in a domestically violent relationship. you knew you were in a domestically violent
The
relationship. You
whole
knew that
time.
it
The
wasn't
whole time.
healthy. I mean, you
The
knew,
whole
but
time.
you had to come to a place of
Yeah.
resolve within yourself before you could make those internal changes so that the
Yeah.
outside could change around you. I love that.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. And the thing about it is one of the things that I really believe in
Hmm.
is control, things that we cannot control. And
Hmm.
that was one of the things that, helped me to just realize and accept I cannot control anybody else's actions. I cannot control
Mm.
what they're going to do. I can't control if he's going to keep on beating on me. I can't control that, right? But what I
Yeah.
can control is how I react to it. What
Mm.
I can control is how I'm going to respond to it and what I'm going to do with me, right? And
Yeah.
that was so long ago, that was so extreme, but I live that every day,
Mm.
realizing and people tell, I used to be a control freak, and I probably still am a little bit, but I'm working on it, right? But
Uh-huh.
everything, I always had to control everything. And if I couldn't control it, everything was just spiraling. Okay. I finally had to realize that even in the things that we cannot control, we just have to realize that we can control us. And we have to
Mm.
take accountability. That's another thing. People always want to blame everybody else for things that are happening. At some
Yes.
point, I had to blame me for still being in that 10-year relationship that was just toxic and unhealthy.
Yes. Oh,
And
and I
yeah.
mean, you're talking a whole, oh, I could do a whole other podcast on just what you said, but
Right.
I'll save that one for later, and I'll just
Yeah.
have to call you back and we'll talk about
Yes.
it. But
Yes.
man, no, you're right. You're so right. What does living with purpose look like for you now?
Oh my gosh. I am just so, so thrilled that things have can evolve the way that they have. So, right now, my purpose, I've shared, and it's just inspiring and helping blind and visually impaired individuals. So that has just it's such a beautiful thing just to see my organization grow and be able to help hundreds of people and soon to be thousands because we're not stopping there. But then I switched that as well. But I'm not just blind and visually impaired. I want to help everyone. I want to help sighted people, everybody.
Mm.
So that is where I'm, transforming over to that better blind insight and helping people to realize their better blind insight and see what that looks like. What does that mean? How
Mm.
can I use that to better my situation and my life?
Mm.
That's my purpose. I just feel I didn't know what my purpose was for a long time, but I think a lot of my purpose honestly cannot be put in words either. The surface part of it, but it's so much more than that.
Mm.
So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just, really, really happy that I'm and given these opportunities to be able to fulfill my purpose and to live my purpose. And I don't know if it's selfish to say this, but helping other people, making other people feel good and confident and that makes me feel good. I don't know if that's selfish, but that helps, but it makes me feel good to make others feel good.
I don't think that's selfish at all. I think that, because for me too, just to see somebody get it,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to that light to click on for them, and
Hmm.
then you start seeing them walk a different path than what
Yeah.
they were on. Like that does it for me too, because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so you were in my circle and there was some
Hmm.
impact, and and then talking about impact, talking about legacy, and as we get ready to kind of close up a little bit, if today were your last day, what would you want to be remembered for?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. Yeah. So, just that the fact of I was a person that, you know, dedicated her life to
Mm.
helping others.
Mm.
That's strong. That's what I live for.
Hmm.
And I want that to be, what is left, how much I did to help others, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that is awesome. So, Sai, as we get, here's my closing question to you. If you could leave just one truth or encouragement with someone listening today who's still trying to figure it out, what their life purpose is, what would that be?
It's not all going to happen in one day. but you
Mm.
got this. Everything will come to you when it's supposed to come to you. That's it. When live your life, live it smartly. Is that a word, smartly? Sorry.
It can be a word today. It can.
I'm always making up my own words, but you determine, and just like you said, we know when we're not doing things the right way. We know when
Mm,
things aren't right. So either you're going to deal with it, you're going to change it, or you're going to accept it. Which is it going to be?
mm.
That's change or accept.
Wow.
So, two
And I,
choices.
I I just want to end that with like period, right? Like, um,
Yes.
so if someone wanted to get in contact with you outside this podcast, how can they do that?
Yes, well, there's a couple of ways. So,
Mhm.
I actually, and I would love for people to check out my organization's website because we are looking for, even though you have to be blind or visually impaired to be a member and receive the services, but we are always looking for volunteers. So, if anybody would like to volunteer with Blind Professionals Network, and it's all virtual volunteering, a lot of it. Please visit us at blindpronet.org. Um, Also, we have a podcast called Blind Table Talk,
Mhm.
and that is where we try to bridge the gap between the sighted and the blind world. And, sighted people can actually come and see how blind people live their everyday lives. We do that as well. So check out our podcast at Blind Table Talk. And that is also a website, which is again, blindtabletalk.com. And then also for if anybody is interested in the Better Blind Insight and just seeing what that's about, you can also get a free discovery call. Or just want to chop it up for 30 minutes. We can do that too. You can email info at betterblindinsight.com. So those are some ways to get a hold of us, but I'm hoping to hear from you guys and would love for you guys to volunteer. Just come see how blind people live. That's another thing too. Blind Professionals Network will definitely show you a different side of the stereotypical blind people. And
Mm.
Blind Table Talk podcast will let you hear all of our crazy stories. So visit us there as well.
Mm. Well, thank you
You're
for
very
sharing your
welcome.
heart, your story, and your light with us today. Conversations like this remind us that purpose isn't about perfection, it's about showing up, growing through what we go through, and trusting that every step matters. Here at the Good Morning Minute and through the Empower Her Steps movement, we believe every woman has a calling worth discovering and a voice worth using. So, wherever you are today, friend, remember your purpose is powerful and you're not walking alone. Until next time, keep rising, keep trusting, and keep walking boldly into the life God has designed for you. I'm Angelina Mojica, your life coach, sending you much love, much peace, many blessings.